That's beautiful, no? Look at that forest, these bamboos. I think that's a beautiful section. Let me try to put it on. It's a beautiful, beautiful conversation Neil deGrasse Tyson is having.
Death, where your state.
Let me contextualize this. So one of the audience, one of the viewers or listeners of Star Talk podcast asked Neil deGrasse Tyson a long question about how he deals with religion, what his stance is on religion, personally what he believes in, and what he thinks about the concept of death and what happens afterwards. If there is any way scientifically to consider the existence of a metaphysical reality after death. Because the viewer, his father is very ill, so he's thinking about that. You know, if there is a chance that maybe something will come up afterwards. And he was giving a long response now, Neil deGrasse Tyson, about how he considers himself agnostic instead of an atheist. It's a very eloquent elaboration on his position regarding that. But basically he's softer than an atheist in his approach, in his views. He doesn't debate religious people. He doesn't deny the existence of God like atheists, the leading atheists of the time, do, writing books and debating and so on. So he's softer, and that's his position. He needs another term, and that's being agnostic. He doesn't know, right? He's open to the world, provided there's evidence either direction. So now he's going to address the question of death, what he thinks about death.
Non-existence in death is not fundamentally different from your state of non-existence before you. Think about that. Before you were born, you weren't saying, "Where am I? How come I'm not anywhere?" You just had no existence. And my confidence in a non-existence in death comes from people who've had many strokes. And with many strokes, different parts of your intellectual functioning go away, bit by bit. Your ability to recognize other people, to know who you are, to remember to eat, to
I hope you can hear that.
To have short-term memory and long-term memory. And these are neurosynaptic failures of the brain. So in death, where there is no neurosynaptic activity at all, to require of death that somehow your brain is restored into some newly functioning whole, for me as a scientist, is unrealistic. But that doesn't alter other thoughts that I have. For example, we are made, not figuratively, but literally, of stardust. We are of the stars. We're the same ingredients the stars are made of. Our ingredients came from the stars. So it's not just that we are alive in the universe.
That's beautiful, no?
The universe is alive within us.
We never die.
And that's a gift of 20th century astrophysics to a civilization that borders on the spiritual. Okay, so now, in death, you've got pretty much two choices in modern society. You can be buried, that's my choice, so that the energy content of my body, which is still there when you die, you have no more synaptic thoughts, but your molecules built up from your lifetime of eating and exercising and the building of your organs and your muscles and other tissue. In death, those molecules still contain energy. If I'm buried, and I decompose, all that energy gets absorbed by microbes, by flora and fauna dining upon my body, the way I have dined upon flora and fauna my whole life, and that way giving back to the earth what I have taken, or literally borrowed, over my life.
Beautiful.
If you're cremated, the energy content of those molecules, it doesn't go away, it gets transferred to heat. This is what heats the air column over the crematorium. That then radiates infrared energy that was once the energy content of the molecules of your body, radiates it out into space, moving at the speed of light. So, if after someone has been cremated, you can keep a timeline. Where has their radiant energy reached by now? If they died 4 years ago, if they were cremated 4 years ago, they would have reached the nearest star system, Alpha Centauri. 20 years ago, you can look at a map and
That's
see
beautiful as well.
where that has touched. So that in a way, you're still a part of the universe. You're still in the universe, just in a different form. In order to presume you are fully alive and functioning, that requires religion, which is strongly based on belief systems rather than anything science will tell you about it. I'd like to end, Joe, with a reading from the last several paragraphs of a book I published a couple of years ago, Starry Messenger, Cosmic Perspectives on Civilization. I'll be reading from the last chapter, titled Life and Death.
So beautiful. That's what I'm listening to every day.
We know how precious life is. The total number of people who have ever been on Earth is about 100 billion. Yet the genetic code that generates viable versions of us is capable of at least 10 to the 30th variations. That astronomically huge number is a 1 followed by 30 zeros, producing a billion trillion possible souls. Each of us, for all practical purposes,
Unique.
is unique in the universe, now and forever. Being alive is the time to celebrate being alive every waking moment. Along the way, why not strive to make a world a better place today than yesterday?
Yes, please.
Simply for the privilege
Wow.
of having lived in it.
Makes me shiver.
On my deathbed, I'd be sad to miss the clever inventions and discoveries that arise from our collective human ingenuity, presuming the systems that foster such advances remain intact. That's what fueled the exponential growth of science and technology in my lifetime. I further wonder whether civilization's arc of social progress will continue with all its fits and starts, and thus reward any time traveler from the oppressed spectrum of humanity who choose to visit the future rather than the past. On the whole, I don't fear death. Instead, I fear a life where I could have accomplished more. An epitaph worthy of a tombstone comes from a 19th century educator, Horace Mann. I beseech you to treasure up in your hearts these my parting words. Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. Our primal urge to keep looking up is surely greater than our primal urge to keep killing one another. If so, then human curiosity and wonder, the twin chariots of cosmic discovery, will ensure that starry messages continue to arrive. These insights compel us for our short time on Earth to become better shepherds of our own civilization. Yes,
Wow.
life is better than death, but life is also better than having never been born. Each of us is alive against stupendous odds. We won the lottery only once. We get to invoke our faculties of reason to figure out how the world works. But we also get to smell the flowers. We get to bask in divine sunsets and sunrises and gaze deeply into the night skies they cradle. We get to live and ultimately die in this glorious universe.
Wow.
Father needs you now. He, whatever are his ailments, he'll be not alone in people whose lives have been hit by disease, ailments, accident, war, pestilence. Regardless, we are the lucky ones because we got to be born at all. So I spent a lot of time wondering if I had never been born. You have to be born in order to then die. So the birth is a privilege and so is the death. Because that's the package of life that we're handed. And everybody else, and then 10 to the 30th variations of the human genome will never know either end of that celebration of this universe. And that is a cosmic perspective.
Wow.
Gary, Jacques,
Wow.
I love these, hearing from all the folks. And I'm sure they love hearing from you. Who are in the Star Talk family.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Our fan base gets to see that people got curiosity too. Right? Yeah. And there's a lot of people behind the scenes making the Star Talk happen. Yeah, right, exactly. All right, I think that's a wrap. Gary. Yes. Today. Thanks for that. Pleasure, Neil. Always a pleasure. All that. And Chuck, we love you, especially in the comedy special. Oh, you mean just smart enough that you can actually watch on the Star Talk main channel? Oh, that one? That comedy special? I forgot all about that, but now that you mention it, yeah. This has been another installment of Star Talk Special Edition. This is the burning questions from the Star Talk family of producers and editors coming in. And I delighted in that. I like being the ointment for the burning sensation that all of you feel.
That's funny.
Apply twice a day. As good as new by tomorrow. All right. Until we meet again, as always, keep looking up.
This was a very moving ending. I hope you got to hear what he was saying. I really wish that you experienced what I experienced just now. Let me mark this episode because it's one of my favorites of all time, especially because of the ending. Yeah, it makes me almost want to cry. It's very emotional. The privilege of being alive, equal in meaning as that of dying. And he spoke about everything that I care about and that I am trying to, one way or another, include in this voyage, or rather dedicate this voyage to those values, to those principles, to that perspective that he shared just now. If you didn't hear it, that would be a shame because, yeah, this entire moment, the last 10-15 minutes, revolve around that. That's why I kept the camera rolling. Very emotional moment for me. Look at that. So nice. The kid sitting in his granddad's lap or his father's lap. Very powerful moment. Very powerful moment. And these are the principles that I try to incorporate in this journey, in what I'm sharing, in what I'm experiencing, in what I'm appreciating every day. And also what I do. I try to. I might not be there, but I do try. And the sun is there shining upon us, sharing warmth and positive emotions. Oh, yeah, just a little gratitude for that unique moment in life. I also sometimes wonder whether I could have done more with what I have. But for now, this is it, okay? I hope it's something. I hope it means something to someone more than me, what it means to me is already more than enough. For me, at least. We'll see how it goes beyond that. Anyway, let's go forward. We have plenty of road to do. This was a very special moment. I just wanted to take a minute to appreciate it, to reflect as well. I really, really hope you heard the recording, the podcast ending, that it was very powerful. I'm very happy I turned it on. I only would regret greatly if it was not hearable. I guess I'll find out later when I check the video, and you will as well when you watch this. But anyway, time to continue. And it's an amazing view to stop at and marvel at. The privilege of this moment, right?